So I'm back once again. How you doing? This is I forgot what I call this. Juicy Media? I already forgot, bro. Or Juice House, I think? Juice House? Yeah. Something like that. Welcome back to Juicy House. This is the so far a channel that I'm gonna be taking threads, posts that I have, and I ask you the question, whether it be something interesting like who should have won the Ballon d'Or but didn't, and then people get mad or they misread it, or maybe I didn't write it correctly, and then it goes into a whole other thing, or people just get toxic on it. But we react to what the internet says, and I think it's time to see just exactly what people were asking, answering. What was the worst booking decision in all time in the world of pro wrestling? And well, we got some answers from a lot of people. So if you see yourself pointing out, oh my god, that's fucking so and so, and we're gonna go through them. This got about 103 responses, some of which I don't think I even actually responded to a lot of them. There's some other stuff going on there as well. What's the greatest Zelda / Link game of all time? Greatest goal, stuff like that. Greatest cartoon, which we have other answers to, but nothing that's popped off like this or the last one. It seems people in the sports fandom and of course pro wrestling are very much locked in when it comes to these type of things. So we're gonna just dive on in, and maybe I'll go through some of these because look, I need to show you. All right, let's just go down like this. All right, there's gonna be a lot of answers, and some of it are gonna be repeats. I think a lot of it is a lot of recent history that people have just seen or learned about. Some stuff I wasn't expecting, like TNA stuff. A lot of people were going back and forth with some shit about Punk and Hangman, some modern stuff with AEW, Jey Uso winning the Royal Rumble. I guess finger poke with Doom. You're gonna see that one a lot. This is still going, by the way. Something about Roman Reigns. Yeah, there you go. And of course, how fitting. Where to start from King Gawk? Well, I can't believe there's a King of Gawking, but there he is. So for the first one, Viagra on a pole match comes to mind. Mae Young giving birth. All right, bro, you're popping off here, and I appreciate it, but I just wanted one. But all right, Viagra on a pole match. Yeah, found an article as well from WrestleCrap. Yeah, Viagra on a pole match. Yep, this is WCW. Fucking whole thing here. If you want to dive into it, is that Juventud? No, that can't be Juventud. Was it? It's Billy Kidman and Shane. I was gonna say McMahon or Halsey. What am I doing? Yeah, Shane Douglas. Right. Yep, that's 5 on a poll. What? Sporter got 5 best and 5 worst. Whatever. This is the one people were talking about though. No, not that one. No, not that one. Not that. Oh, on a poll type match. I see. Yeah, this is the one people were talking about. With Shane Douglas, and Billy Kidman in WCW in Nitro. Wow, 2000, huh? Yep, that sounds about right. See, 2000 WCW is like a year before it goes under or gets bought by Vince, right? So there's a lot of bad in there, but it looks like, well, I don't know. I feel like I should probably go back to see, like, all right, I hear a lot of the bad. There has to be good here, though. Why are people watching WCW? Was it just we don't want to watch the Fed? Okay, but it can't just be that simple. Something had to have been going on that made people say, you know what? There's some good stuff. And apparently this, no, not at all. Not at all. So, Mae Young giving birth to Mark Henry's baby. Now, which ended up being a hand. Now, here's the thing, right? You can shit on this all you want. We could actually go through. There's a whole thing right here about it. It's the whole segment from February 28, 2000. I don't want this video to get removed and deleted from WWE, so we're going to leave it as that. But, yeah. Oh, there's a reason to it. Oh, beautiful. I had absolutely no idea why Mae Young gave birth to a hand. Hold up. Why she gave birth to a hand. But Windows Movie Maker just popped up. Hold up. Other than assuming it was just a weird segment, until the day when I was reading through the threads regarding old Wrestling Observer issues and came across this from Dave Meltzer on March 6, 2000. By the way, 2000. This is the same fucking time in which we just covered the Viagra on a Pillows match. So I guess 2000 wrestling just was on some shit. Mae Young gave Crash the worst big splash ever and then went into labor. They had her backstage with the EMT, Patterson, Briscoe, Henry, I was going to say Henry, and Moolah for this god-awful segment that ended up the ending when they pulled a hand out of her. I had no idea what this was. Luckily, I do a radio show. Someone explained that hands were popular sex toys in the 70s and 80s for the women. And I guess the idea... What the fuck was going on in the sex world of Americans in this era? What the fuck? She was getting herself off in another decade and had been there for a while. Wow, my mind is blown. Well, this is disgusting. Yep. Yep. All right, that's cool. Goldberg winning the Universal title and clear the momentum of both Kevin Owens and The Fiend. Yeah, I hear this one a lot. I didn't know about this. Wait, Goldberg beat Kevin Owens for this? Y'all were watching this, and some people popped for this probably. That's... Look, I get it. Goldberg was cool. I was listening to Steven Larson talk about the CM Punk thing with Paul Heyman and Roman on SmackDown that just happened with Seth. And in it, there was like a question for somebody that was like, oh my god, dude, fucking remember fucking Goldberg? You guys were wrong. This dude was the shit. No, bro, he was just over. That doesn't mean you're the shit. You having certain moments... Or like 3 moves of death, right? The thing that we say about Cena with 5 moves of death, right? Yeah, cool. And depending how you build or gimmick it, not gimmick it, but like build around that match, you can do a lot. But then when it comes to like asking someone to put on a banger like for 30 minutes or something like that, and they can't, it really exposes them. Which, look, if you're gonna be a fucking not world champion, but universal champion, you kind of have to be able to do that, though, in my opinion. Like, you need to be good on the mic and have a good wrestling skill set at the very least, or at least be able to put it on a quality match, even with a limited moveset, right? It's all of it. You can't just have one or the other and try to be as successful as you can. You can. I'm sure I'm wrong, and no, Caesar such and such and such. Okay, cool. But I'm saying, in a perfect world, should be able to have a balance of all of it, right? So, yeah. The Fiend, though, yeah, that's crazy. How do you, like, squat? I mean, rest in peace, Bray Wyatt, but that's... I wasn't watching, but even I knew. What the fuck, bro? That's... Even I know. This is... Yeah. David Arquette winning the WCW World title. If you don't know, David Arquette won the WCW World Championship Wrestling's glorious title, and that is their heavyweight championship. Apparently, the story goes... I think he was told by maybe Russo or somebody was like, yeah, man, you're gonna go. What if you won the title? He's like, haha, that's so funny. And then he's like, wait, you're serious? Dude, no way. He didn't want it. But it happened. And to be fair, this man runs a wrestling promotion now, I believe. Arquette famously perhaps was weaved into... no, that's not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for his pro wrestling. Did he actually wrestle? What the fuck? Did he actually get the respect and like say, you know what? I gotta go out there and fucking go about it. Maybe. He wrestled, so... There's a whole article about it if you want to read through it. Title Montez came across the parts of a rating boost. And the WWF is producing arguably one of the best content in a long time. Man, I don't know, man. 99 SmackDown's kind of crazy. Some of it's good, some of it is shit. Arquette's deathmatch with Gage is a spectacle that was let the shot with Arquette was just as well as he went. Blah, 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 blah. No, I kind of swore he had like a pro wrestling company. Or maybe I guess he was just in some matches. Alright, respect. He was an actor, I believe, right? Right? American actor, producer, and retired professional wrestler. As an actor, he was known as Dewey Riley in the slasher franchise Scream. Oh, I see. Won him a Teen Choice Award and 2 Blockbuster Entertainment Awards. And yeah, and also Slamboree pay-per-view event. And he appeared to Dewey and on the independent circuit. What's up? No, I don't want the definition. I want like what was that? He was in a lot of movies and games. Wow. He was in SSX Tricky. What the fuck? Shout out to him. He's in a lot of shit, bro. Man, I might fuck around, just take acting classes, just be in shit. Who knows? Just why not? You need a tall guy? Alright, I'm in. What's up? You need a big guy? Alright, I'm in. Yeah, look. And even the music videos from Creed, something called Various, Give Me Your Hand, Red Bull, Hennessy. That was like 6 years ago. Damn. Look at this. Look how much shit he's been in. Damn, respect to him. Yeah, shouts to him though. I get an idea why you want to put him in such a spotlight, but that having the title on him, yeah, that's crazy. Finger Poker Doom. All right, you're gonna see this one a lot. You saw a GIF about it already, and yep, Finger Poker Doom. You know what? Look, basically, oh my God, Nash or the fucking NWO. I think this is what led to them reforming the NWO, I believe. He was the leader of the Wolfpack faction and of the NWO. With Nash and the group had a feuding with both of them, with the Hollywood faction and the Red faction, I guess. Wolfpack faction, yeah. Basically, it ended up with, haha, we got you guys. Matter of fact, hold up. Got you guys, man. Haha, you guys thought we would fight each other? No way, man. Let's reunite. And look, I get it. This is a build-up. This, I think, was a main event. And literally, they stare down and then finally get close. And Hogan does this. And Nash pins him. I don't know what the fuck this is. And Hogan pins him, and that's it. And then Nash gets up and starts laughing. And yeah. Now, look. I'm going to leave this on. You can absolutely save that and actually run with it in so many different ways and really capitalize off that energy. It's just, I don't think people wanted this anymore. I don't think people wanted to see WCW still main event scene be the NWO, specifically Hogan and Nash and whoever the fuck. I forgot. It's been too long. So I think that's what led to people being like, man, this fucking sucks. But I think if you had flipped this, maybe Nash doing it against Hogan. I don't know. I'm not going to armchair a book, but like I should. I think there could have been something done here. I think on paper, this sounds like a good idea. I think it's just, bro, it's been like, what year was this? This wasn't peak WCW. 99. Damn, bro. So this is when it starts to really go down, huh? Because what was it? 96, 97, 98 is like their peak, I think, right? No, 90. No, it could be earlier that they were at their peak, but like, dude. Actually, somebody has a whole thing. Why? Pretty much marked the end for WCW. Okay, why? It's a whole bunch of shit. I don't know. It was more of the show that brought the cameras back more than anything. The NWO had worn out its course 2 years before. Damn, bro. And an NWO redeem was the last thing people wanted, while Raw was putting on fresh material like Foley winning the World Heavyweight Championship that same night. WCW was still doing boring, invincible NWO, and Decimini Goldberg, who was the only person left in WCW. Fans were behind, and fans knew that they weren't getting their comeuppance because he was always went over at WCW. Essentially, the Figure Puck of Doom was the fans' last ounce of trust getting beaten down and straight painted. Tough. That sucks, but yep. There you go. That was from almost 10 years ago, that post. Fuck. Jeff Jarrett laying down for Hogan. So at some point in, I think 2001 or 2000, basically Hogan kept saying no to a bunch of ideas on how to end this one match involving Jarrett, I think, Booker, I think, Scott Steiner, I think. Some shit, I forgot. For the world title, and Hogan doesn't want to play anybody over, so they came up with so many ideas. Ultimately, him and Bischoff came up with some idea in order to really handle it. I think this was when it was still Bischoff and Russo booking, right? I think. Somebody correct me. And ultimately, they had their idea, and it was like, all right, cool. But then Russo went, apparently, this is, I think, from what they said. And then Russo went and called out Hogan. No, and then, so the finish happens, and Jeff Jarrett, I guess Hogan didn't know, just lays the fuck down. And 1, 2, 3, boom, immediately. And then Hogan wins, and he's like, what the fuck? And then Hogan starts talking shit. I think Russo and him have a back and forth. This is like at a pay-per-view too, I believe. And yeah. And then Russo kept, or some, no, I think Hogan says some shit. He's talking some shit. Then he leaves. And then him and Bischoff fly off or some shit to try to figure out what to do. And then Russo comes out later that night and cuts a whole promo like, yeah, man, fuck that guy. Da, 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 da. If I remember correctly, I might be wrong. Yeah. Yep. WCW, yo. In the late 90s / early 2000s. Yep. How do you save it? No idea. But yeah. And the Montreal Screwjob. Yeah, but look, some people have the idea this, if you don't know, basically Vince, Shawn Michaels, Triple H, and technically Earl Hebner conspired to, I mean, not really, but yeah, conspired to basically, we're going to force Bret Hart to give up the belt because Bret Hart is leaving and he's going to be going to WCW and get paid. because Vince had extended him at some point. I mean, he did a lot of favors for Vince that he never got returned and put over Shawn. And Shawn told him, yeah, I wouldn't do the same. All this shit. Give you a brief generalization. And at some point, Bret gets extended for like a couple, I don't know, 10 years or some shit. And it's like insane money. But then Vince is like, dude, I can't pay it to you. I need you to like, I think you should call it WCW. Because WCW had actually offered a deal to Bret first when his deal was coming up. And Vince was like, look, let's see if you can get a deal. And so basically Bret kept like slow rolling them and like asking for all bunch of crazy shit. I want to get paid as much as Hogan or whatever. All this stuff, less dates, etc., etc. And Eric was like, what else? And then ultimately it was like, I don't know. I guess that's it. And boom, he didn't want to leave. Is the way he says it. So Bret's always been consistent about his opinion about this. So while the others haven't. So I don't know, bro. I would rather believe Bret Hart. The best there is, the best there was, the best there ever will be, right? And yeah. Basically, they ended up screwy finish. Shawn puts the sharpshooter, Bret Hart's finishing move, on him. And he's even giving him pointers to how to do it because he's not doing it good while it's happening. And then Vince forces the call. And the ref goes ding-ding-ding. And then the ding-ding-ding. And that's it. And then there's a whole moment. You can watch it yourself. Look it up. Yeah. What I will show you is now this is him spitting at Vince. This is the actual finish of it. Oh, yeah, here we go. This is Bret Hart doing the WCW thing. And that's where he was going. Which, look, I get it. You can't let him... I didn't realize that the music's so loud. You can't let him take the title to WCW. You just can't. You can't. So I get it. But also, damn, yeah, look at him spinning at Vince, bro. Good. But, yeah. So, is what it is, man. So he will say this has worked and this is a whole plan, da-da-da-da. No, I don't think so. I don't think so at all, bro. No way. No fucking way, bro. But yeah, there's been so many documentaries about it, bro. Just yeah, look up some shit, bro. Anything Vince Russo booked during his WCW tenure, all of it. Okay. Yeah, something people say about Vince Russo, my buddy do as well. It's wild. Basically, he has a lot of crazy ideas. It's just Vince would be the one, because, you know, the buck stops at Vince. So he was able to say no to a lot of shit, but like the shit that he did say yes to, it was still like with working with Brian Gewirtz and other writers there. So like it was able to stay controlled and really laid out much better instead of like him just becoming the head booker where, yeah, bro, the buck sucks with you, so you can book whatever the fuck you want. And yeah, Russo was always about giving people things to do throughout the whole show instead of just the main event scene. So it was cool. And I think his whole thing was about characters or some shit like that. I forgot. But yeah, so that's why what he was able to do some stuff, it worked because it was able to really, I don't know. On one hand, there's some stuff that he did that was great, but some other stuff at WCW. Somebody says, Great Khali becoming World Heavyweight Champion. Yep, that he did nothing. He was a spectacle character, you know? Look at him. He's big and he's not American. He's crushing Rey Mysterio's head. That's a real thing. Yeah, he had this finisher that he would basically crush people's heads. This is the famous one with Rey. Yeah, look at it. It's fucking wild. Yep. CW the Nexus, I still think about Wade Barrett potentially reaching all-time heel status if he wins. Basically, there was this group from NXT that got caught out with Daniel Bryan, I think Jinder Mahal. No. Wade Barrett. Some other shit, bro. Daniel Bryan chokes a fucking guy with a cable. It's crazy. Look it up. Yeah, and Cena, basically for the pay-per-view lead-up, Cena makes the call, hey, bro, nah, I gotta go over them, bro. It's gonna help them. No, it didn't stop Cena. Edge and Jericho or Edge and Christian were both on record being like, nah, bro, that's fucking dumb. That's crazy. And then Cody, and then Dre the Gemini says Cody Rhodes losing his opportunity to ever challenge the AEW World Championship. Yeah, you had as I said to this man, you had literally the perfect way to turn heel. And people were already fantasy booking it, and then just gone. People were already saying, "Oh man, fucking looking like the dude from The Boys on the Amazon show, Homelander. You could really do it. It'd be pretty cool." No. You know why I won't turn heel? Because you people cheer me when I needed it most. All right, Cody, cool. Although that's a crazy shout out to Brian Petchwolf. By the way, y'all should watch this. If you need to watch that video, did I recommend it? No, I didn't recommend one, did I? Hold up. I recommended this to a few friends recently, The Unreality of Pro Wrestling, which that's good too. But also a good podcast. This one. Shout out Mercenables. This though, watch this one. It's basically the perfect. Well, it's supposed to be a sequel to this, but basically a lot of it is in this one. I don't know why I did that, but whatever. Yeah, you should watch that. It's really good. Learn some shit about the Rhodes family. I didn't realize that the Dustin and Dusty. Why Vince booked Dustin how he did and how disrespectful that is to Dustin Rhodes. Yeah, Vince is an asshole, piece of shit. But yeah, this is really good. You should check it out. If you've never seen this one, perfect for you to watch this one. Yeah. Yep. This right here, 2101. Yeah, I don't understand having it be Brock because he didn't need it. I would think tradition says a younger guy. Like if Roman did it, I mean, I don't know. That might have not helped Roman. That might have actually made things a lot worse for him. Who knows? Yeah. Although I guess he did retire Taker, so that's one thing. But like, yeah. Perfect run. All these wins in Mania. And then who beats it? Fucking Brock Lesnar. It was this whole historical illustrious thing, and then yep, let's just throw it away for a pop for a moment, which I mean it is a good moment, but man, yep. If it's not the finger poke of doom, which we've already covered, it's Vince Russo booking Ever to win the WCW title. More of that. You see, we're having a theme here. Triple H going over Sting at WrestleMania 31. I wasn't watching, so I don't know this shit, but that, yeah, power move maybe, probably, who knows. Turning Big Show into a weekly fiction instead of treating him like an attraction and then flip-flopping him to turn face and heel a billion times, as well as all the on-air humiliation he had to endure as punishment for weight issues, which is weird to say for a guy who's supposed to be big as hell, and you marketed him as such. I remember he's 7 feet tall and 500 pounds, which is crazy. Yeah, and this is a very infamous thing when it comes to Big Show. Always a face heel, face heel, face heel. Just don't get me wrong, there's only so much lasting power in keeping him as a big, strong guy as a threat. But, like, it's done well. It's really good, right? Hell, I mean, he teamed with Kane and won World Tag Team titles. His feud with Ray. His feud with Cena. Triple H, I think, too. Yeah, a lot of shit in here that could have... yeah, Brock Lesnar, of course, yeah. That moment with the suplex break in the ring, yep. NWO extending to nearly 85% of the WCW roster. That is pretty crazy. You have one... It's like if Bullet Club, when it was the Elite and Cody and all them, and it was just most of the roster joining that faction. Why? There's no need for that. The invasion angle and not acquiring everyone necessary for it. Yeah, basically when WCW got bought by WWE, they did this whole invasion run and story, which only really featured WWE talent except for like Booker, I guess Jericho, Goldberg, Scott Hall, Kevin Nash, Hogan, all didn't go to show because they were already on guaranteed deals and they were making guaranteed money instead of having to join the WWE and have to renegotiate and take less money and work more dates. No, that's dumb. I'm still with them on that. But like, some people didn't, some people did. And well, yeah, why do this angle for no reason? I don't know. You could have built up to it, showcased the talent that you did have them pair with some of your mid-carders and even main eventers because you have to, and if you're trying to salvage this. And they were trying to get a WCW show as well and try to have it on TV and shit, which made it more valuable. It's a whole fucking thing, but there was no way. Which ended up, I mean, the reason why we have Raw and SmackDown is because it birthed from the idea of having WWE and WCW being aired at the same time owned by WWE, I believe. Because I mean, you have to. That's what AEW needs. You have all this time, you can't showcase it properly. Fuck it, split it. TK, when he's booking, it does good stuff for like most of the time. But when he's not there, it's obvious and there's holes in it. So not having a booker or a booking committee or some shit hurts the product itself as far as story outside of the ring. Because in ring, everyone always says, yeah, it's still really some of the best shit AEW has, if not the best that they have. Yeah, so having that be there and then like, what I'm trying to say is, you could still have AEW be like, okay, let's say if it's run by TK and the Elite and maybe Omega, cool. You could have had that other, like you have, dude, you have Shivani, you had JR, who probably doesn't want to book. You have Excalibur, you have Taz, you have all these vets in the locker room, and you don't utilize it to help book. I get it. If they didn't want to, why force it? I get that, but like, bro. And then you could have had this B show be all that, which I guess is Ring of Honor is now, I think. I have no idea, but I don't watch. But yeah. Not signing Sting earlier and getting the match for Taker. Yeah, we never got Sting versus Taker. Yeah, that does suck. That would have been cool. It happens. Fake Poke of Doom. Yep. Montrose. Yep. It was a work that everyone was clearly in on and somehow maintained kayfabe for the part 3. I don't know about that part, but okay. The fact that the Figure Poke of Doom has a shot more is great. That you need to update your check, bro. Hogan over Orton. I'm sorry. What? Hogan beat Orton at SummerSlam? Wait, but did it? I thought Hogan fought Shawn Michaels. If that's true, no, that can't be true. That can't be true. That can't be true. And it's true. Okay. What? Wait, this is during his fucking legend. What? Orton at some point was fighting a bunch of legends in pro wrestling, and it was this whole legend killer gimmick, and then he fought Mick Foley, and that actually helped Orton get over and put him up to the main event level. Losing don't work for me, brother. They were still trying to do business with Hulk Hogan, who was again throwing a fit about his pay and his spot in the card. Hogan tried to get knee surgery before the show as a way to get leverage, bro. If you need knee surgery, I would have just been like, all right, bro, you no, I don't need you. You'll notice this is Hogan's last match in WWE, and also it wasn't necessary for punishment for Orton's behavior. But it was, he was still being immature. In early 2007, he had an incident with tearing up a hotel room. Orton was being given a lot of chances, but still had to earn his stripes with his bosses before they hitched the wagon to him. Okay. Context. Yeah, I'm happy Orton's become a better person, bro. Happens. We were all idiots in our past and younger days. Gotta be able to move on and say, yeah, I'm not that guy, though. And move on. Vince taking the belt away from Jericho Owens feud. Yeah, I mean, it didn't need it, but like, it adds another layer to that. I don't know why you do that. It was the most everything on the show. Even I heard about it, the list, right? Arquette title. Y'all don't fucking learn when people say, what's the one... If I ask you what's the worst fucking thing of all time in pro wrestling, and you spout a bunch of shit, bro, I just want the one, in your opinion. I don't want the objective opinion. I don't want the one that society has chosen. I want your pick. I don't want objective. I want subjective. Talk your shit. Who's your GOAT in pro wrestling? I don't want to hear the same fucking names. Who's the greatest soccer player of all time? Football. I don't care. Pick yours. I don't want to hear the same fucking answers, bro. It's boring. It's not interesting. Let me see what's your bag. Stay with music. Don't tell me your top 5 rappers are fucking Tupac, Biggie, Nas, Big L. Let me hear other shit. Jay-Z. Let me hear other shit. I don't want to hear that. I want to hear your GOAT. That's more interesting. That's when I can really see the layers in your bag, you know? Anyway. WCW spoiling Mick Foley's title win. No, that's just historical, bro. Immediately people flipped the channel and went over to watch because the WCW was always live, where WWE was always taped. So when Mick won the title, they themselves, WCW, spoiled it. And then everybody went to go, well, check that out. Because wait, what did you just say? Holy shit. Yeah. Stone Cold Austin turn the heel. No, I disagree with this. I know at the time it was done horribly. But on paper, hey, man, there's a lot you could have done with that. It's the same shit I say about Evil in his New Japan IWGP Heavyweight Championship run. There's a lot you could have done. You don't change gears because of reaction. You go all the way with it and then say, okay, how was it? when you take a step back and say, this was shit. My bad. Let's never do that again. We were wrong. But to be fair, if you do that, you don't get the Daniel Bryan moment. So I don't know. And WWE will always try to tell you, and this thing that Adam Blampied, he can go fuck himself, but he is right about this. WWE will spend every single moment to tell you that them and that whole Daniel Bryan thing was all originally the plan. No, it wasn't. Don't ever let them work you, brother. Now, unequivocally, people say the ratings drop was more so because of the TNA, but pay-per-view buy still tank too. People were saying wrestling's the hottest it's ever been, but WWE is getting lower ratings than what WCW was getting when Turner counted it. But at this time, okay, interesting. I'm talking about now, no, streaming, I don't think people understand. Streaming really fucks up numbers. That's why ratings, like, don't get me wrong, I used to be like, oh my god, AEW ratings, ha ha ha. It doesn't matter. Brother, I don't have cable. How do you think I watch pro wrestling? Come on. What are we doing here? I'm not alone in that either. How many people do the same shit? Whether it's football, basketball. Brother, no Lakers fans can watch Laker games on TV for free right now. You have to have Spectrum. I'm not buying Spectrum. Why would I? Or Bally Sports. Whatever the fuck it is. I don't give a shit. None of us does this. So what do y'all do? You guys go to the bar to watch? Sure. Okay. Kofi loses to Brock less than 10 seconds. Yeah. Some racism probably behind this, but yeah. This is the one that had me hot for some time. Right about losing. Okay. Moving on. Yep. That's what somebody said, though. I can't knock it. Yep. Really? First ever... I mean, Booker T technically, but that's World Heavyweight. I get what they mean by that when they say, first ever black WWE champion. Yeah, literally WWE championship title. Champion. Yeah. I don't know if it's an all-timer, but putting the WWE championship on Ray just to give it back to Cena. Oh my god. So here's the thing, right? This was, if I remember correctly, CM Punk had just left the company. Now, by the way, it's the only time I'm ever going to say this, but shout out DSP. Because him and John Rambo, shout out to the GOAT. That being John Rambo. Homie. They had a show in which they were talking about wrestling on a weekly basis, basically. They would film it Saturdays and talk about it and upload it, And this was, I believe, July, like right before July 4 or whatever. So they usually would film 2 shows for the Raw before that, or even SmackDown, I don't know, but let's just say for Raw because this happened on Raw. And CM Punk left the company, and then in the next week's episode, oh my god, CM Punk's back, holy shit. That was filmed at the exact same time. So this moment of, oh my god, Punk fucking left, dude, we're gonna have no champion, holy shit. Oh my god, we just crowned ourselves a new champion. It's John Cena. Well, it's Rey Mysterio. It's John Cena. This happened at one night, by the way. They were basically doing a whole, I think it was like a tournament or whatever. And then at some point, Rey Mysterio wins it. And then Cena, for whatever reason, he congratulates him. And then he challenges him or some shit. I don't fucking know. And Rey's like, yeah, bro, I'm down, dude. I'm down, brother. And then he loses. First ever WWE title run. Yep. Don't you mean... Well, no, his first WWE Championship run was actually the World Heavyweight Championship. Okay, but you just said it, right? The World Heavyweight Championship and WWE title, 2 different fucking belts. Stop acting like it's not. I know when they unified, it's a whole other thing. I don't care. We skipped that part of that era, okay? Yeah. So, Ray wins it, and then Cena wins it the same night. And then next episode, oh my god, CM Punk is here. Wow, now we have 2 WWE Championships holders. What are we gonna do? Oh, isn't this crazy? You didn't even give it a week, bro. You didn't even give it a week to have that dialogue. It was done for the live crowd. Like, what? Wait, this happened. Oh, all right. If I misremember anything, by the way, in this video, please let me know. Charlotte breaking Asuka streak in Mania. I missed this, but basically Charlotte went over Asuka. There's a whole discussion right now with, I'll show it. Yeah, Swerve. Oh, that's awesome. Fuck. I remember seeing Swerve at PCW. Shout out the indie promotion here in Los Angeles that I think is gone, sadly. Yeah, so I always had love for that man. And I saw him and Hangman here at the forum, and yeah. There's a whole thing that happened between Tiffany and Charlotte. If you are seeing this video, you should know what happened here. Yeah, unprofessionalism for Charlotte. Tiffany not really being able to go toe-to-toe and just remembering lines. It's the whole thing, but yeah. Yeah, Charlotte gets booked a very, very specific way. Infamously so. And, yeah. A lot of people have issues with it. I think there's a lot you could probably do with someone like this. Especially if they just have Gardner natural heat like that. But the vet, like, okay, with AEW, right? Whenever there was a vet that had the AEW World Championship, right? Or AEW title, I don't know what it is now. I forgot. I haven't been watching in a while. It's just because it's too much time. Too much time doing. Whenever there was a vet that had the title, he would be working. Maybe there'll be another vet that they work. But usually they work a lot of the youngins, right? Because that's what you have to do. You have the vets. You should work them in with some of the younger guys and vice versa, right? You need to have, you have your 2 main eventers, cool, right? Heyman has this whole thing about it. You got to have 2 of your mid-carders get in there to work with them. Because then, just through working with them, now you have 4 main eventers. And then, you can bring someone else up from the lower card to make them mid-carders and vice versa. And now you can start building a whole show around these specific guys, and et cetera, et cetera. Whenever it's a young guy that had an AEW championship, or an AEW prime, right? Not a former WWE guy. They're working a lot of the other vets and all the other experienced guys. Because, yeah, this is how you balance shit out. And, well, yeah. I feel like always this has been the case for them. And it's been interesting because I think it goes Jericho, Moxley, Omega, Hangman. Like, it usually goes back and forth. Some shit like that. I forgot. I had this example with my homie, like, a few months back, but I forgot. It's probably not true nowadays. But, yeah. Anyway. There's something. You could book this better. Why you ruined... I assume Asuka was, like, just recently caught up when this happened, right? Is this when Asuka won the Rumble? Asuka and Nakamura didn't win their Mania matches, right? When they won the Rumble, right? I hate what they did to Nakamura. Anyway. If Asuka wins, it's minimum 3 more months of storyline with 2 SummerSlam Survivor Series with the streak is finally broken, which that's fine. See? And you get a whole bunch out of it, too. Okay. Not a booking decision, but TNA bringing in Dixie Carter. Yeah. Even I heard it. I didn't watch TNA. At some point, my buddy will go through TNA. But we know when to stop. Yeah. Dixie. Some people like her, some people don't. I think if TNA just had more pro wrestling in its era and didn't bring in Hulk and Eric, I think they would have been way better off. Even with the inclusion of Dixie. But whatever. Lesnar ending the streak. Yep. We talked about it. Goldberg not winning at SummerSlam 02. I'm sorry. Who did Goldberg lose to? Who did Goldberg lose? Is this versus Triple H? Why didn't Goldberg win the title? This is for Wrestling Forum. Wasn't Triple H injured? They thought they could pull off that late 90s booking style where if they prop a babyface up to beat a heel, but the heel wins in an evil genius way to build him some heat, so the babyface would finally win it would mean much more. Problem was the show was in 2003. It didn't have the 90s energy, and it was atrocious. Triple H during Evolution was very dull. I don't know about that, but okay. Evolution Triple H was like not peak Triple H, but like really, bro. I fucking hated Triple H. Bro, what are you talking about? Uninteresting heel that did nothing memorable compared to the stuff he did in the 2000. Every Raw started with a tired Evolution promo. Goldberg wasn't big enough to fill in the void of the previous retired stars. Pace was slow and weak, and viewership decreasing. And then somebody did a whole what if. Let's look at it. We are doing this from the point of view of Goldberg crushes everyone inside the chamber, including Triple H, and wins the World Heavyweight Championship in SummerSlam 2003. From this point, Triple H goes on injured reserve due to his groin injury. Triple H would have then placed a bounty over Goldberg's head from this point instead of the prior to Survivor Series. He wants Goldberg taken out so that the World Championship could come home to him. Come home to daddy. However, while many want to cash in on the bounty, they also selfishly want the world title for themselves. Chris Jericho to be the first step up to the program with Goldberg heading into Forgiven. Jericho was in the Triple Threat IC match that year, and with his history with Goldberg, alongside with Goldberg putting him through a pod, meant that there was a story there. Of course, Jericho is unsuccessful. Triple H would then be furious to be forced to up the bounty amount on Goldberg. This will lead to Ric Flair and Randy Orton stepping up on behalf of their leader. Goldberg would defeat both men in singles matches in a handicap match over the next 3 weeks after being injured by other talents trying to claim the bounty. The following week, Shawn Michaels steps up and he wants to prove himself as the leader of Team Austin. This is a whole. I'm alright, bro. But alright, interesting. Piggy James Sterling. I don't know who the fuck. I don't know what this is, but somebody let me know. Is this awful? Booker losing. Booker and Triple H fought for the World Championship, and there was a lot of racism connections to it. Triple H hits a pedigree on Booker T. Takes, I don't know, 10 seconds to eventually go make a pin. And then 1, 2, 3, Booker loses. Yep. Why do I watch the WWE, bro? I mean, I don't, but yeah. Jey Uso winning the Rumble. Okay, why do you have an issue with Jey Uso? I get it. From the conversation that I've had with a buddy, it's, yeah, bro, Yeet is over, but not him. And I can understand not wanting or not having that guy be the world, or, you know, in that position to be a world champion, because, hey, you're trying to make sure this dude is cooking and, you know, be the flag bearer for that title for a while. Apparently this title means nothing. They don't really give it that respect. If so, that's kind of crazy, because I think the people that lived through it remember when Batista was the world heavyweight champion and Cena was the WWE champion. Yeah, that's weird. Whatever. That's a booking issue. Not booking Hogan versus Flair at Mania 8. Yeah, that's a historical one. They were both in the same company at some point. I think Flair even took the NWA World Championship there. I think, and they never did it. I think Hogan ended up. Flair fought Steamboat, I think, and Hogan fought the Ultimate Warrior, I believe. I forgot what the mindset was, but yeah. Figure Poker Doom. Somebody went off about a whole kayfabe thing. I don't know. CM Punk beating Hangman. Yeah, in hindsight, yeah. I get why you had to crown him. Me and my buddy were literally at a. There's like a barbecue spot. Think of like a Chili's, but it's called BJ's. And we were literally ordering food, and then that happened. We see the paper, we see the press conference and all this stuff, and yeah. And then we went to the show at the Forum, in which, you know, Punk comes out, MJF is like, "Fire me, Tony." Tanahashi comes out, all this stuff. I see Punk dive off into the crowd. And then what happens when I get home? Oh my God, Punk, or whatever. Oh my God, Punk is hurt. Wow. And then, well, the timeline we all know now. Yep. WrestleMania 9. Oh, is this the Bret Hart Yokozuna? Bret loses, and then Hogan's like, "Oh my God, you want me to beat him, dude?" And then he beats him, and then Hogan wins the WWE Championship, and then they only did that because of a European tour. After that, man, just ended up back on Bret. Reigns over Taker. No, look, I get the reasoning. I can't hate this. I think the match should have been better than what it was. I think that's the issue, but yeah. But this was also peak boo Roman. Hey, what if we give him leukemia and have him get over like that, dude? Anyway, having Hogan fight Sting in Impact Wrestling. I'm sorry, they actually had the match. Doesn't it seem like a little too, whatever? Letting Sting fight Jeff Hardy the night Hardy was high. Yeah. But what were you going to do? They didn't know until literally the main event, and then they're trying to figure out what to do. Sting's already out there, by the way, and without anyone knowing, Hardy just walks out, and he goes out there all fucked up. Yep. Continuing over the edge after Owen Hart. Yeah, if you don't, some people are going to know this. Owen Hart on a skyline, right? He's flying down. It's gonna be this cool fucking thing, Blue Demon fucking gimmick, which, by the way, not a fan of. And the idea, oh my God, he's gonna land in the middle of the ring, and well, he did, but he died. It's tragic. There's footage of it. I'm not gonna show it. Jim Ross had to call it. Him and King had to update everybody as it was going on, and the show still went on. By the way, The Rock and all these people are still wrestling. Taker sees it, all this stuff. Their blood is still in the ring. But the pay-per-view is on. Damn it, the show must go on. Go out there and work. Yep. Anyway, Cena beating Bray Wyatt in Mania. Yeah, it probably should have been Bray, but you know, I mean, they did eventually have that moment in the COVID Mania. So I mean, hey, Figure Poker Doom, Muhammad Hassan, terrorist leader. Yes, the Italian. Yeah, you know what? 9/11 happened. Everyone's scared of this shit. What if, dude, you become Muslim? But I'm Italian. I don't give a fuck. What if you become Muslim and we feed on that fear mongering people have about it? And your thing was going to be alien, alien. I shit you not. YouTube, don't ban me. This is all what WWE did. I'm just talking about the history of it. Yep, I'm always done this for an hour. Oh my god. Tony Khan not hiring a booker. Yep. Yeah, because whenever he's not there, it does whittle. Everybody joined NWL, the employment of Russo, etc., etc. Bret Hart versus Goldberg for many reasons. Now, here's the thing. If you don't know, Bill Goldberg in WCW ended Bret Hart's career by giving him a shuffle sidekick to the head for shoot. Now, look. It is really bad. I did this joke earlier with my buddy. That is really bad. It's horrible. Fuck, man. We lost one of the great ones. We lost the best there was, the best there is, the best there ever will be, right? You tell me you couldn't go and then present that as, hey, man, my kick took out Bret Hart. That's how dangerous this move is. Ha ha ha. I am Goldberg. Really? Can't capitalize on that? Damn. Well, that's your Bret TDP. So, what the fuck are we doing here, bro? Who the fuck cares? It's pro wrestling. Take advantage of that. It's a real story beat right there. Not letting Booker beat Triple H. Yep. Letting an obviously intoxicated Jeff Hardy stink. Yep. 2011. You want to watch that? Victory Road. Hogan not jobbing out to Sting clearly to end and later reboot the NWO. Everybody agrees. WCW Invasion. We talked about it. Fatal 4-way between... 4 picks. Figure Poker Doom. Hogan Mania 9. ECW / WCW Invasion. I didn't even mention the ECW part. David Arquette, which basically scapegoats 2000, 2001 WCW. I'd swap Starkey 97 with David Arquette, TBH. You could, because it's a whole thing. Either turning Sting heel in 99 or turning Goldberg heel in 2000. Triple H and Shawn Michaels versus Undertaker and Kane at Crown Jewel. Wow, that was a bad match, huh? Bald Shawn Michaels. David Arquette, Vince winning the Royal Rumble. I don't remember that. I'm glad I wasn't watching. Drew McIntyre always losing to Europe. That is weird. How come you didn't crown this man? Crown this man, damn it. Hell, him with the World Heavyweight Challenge should probably be money. I can't say it's worse ever, but Charlotte over. This was still hurts. Booking Roman as a face and letting him be rejected for 6 years until he finally became the Tribal Chief and is one of the biggest stars in wrestling. His talent in the ring was always there, and he's only gotten better. He shouldn't have been cutting good guy promos when he couldn't talk very well yet. What got him over a heel turn and a 4-year run as champ, and of course leukemia. That super. I joke. I do kind of believe a little bit, but whatever. Y'all should really watch the Super Eye Patch Wolf video, because that's what also turned me in favor of Roman Reigns. Because I was also that same guy going, nah, fuck Roman. But also just listening to internet opinion and then having that be my opinion, right? We all fall privy to that. Yeah. That's what made me go, you know what, Roman? My fault. You got some shit in you, bro. Booking just didn't know what they should have been doing with you, but whatever. It's a whole thing. Oh, he was given the belt too early. Yeah, as Adam Blavie put it. Bro, Roman Reigns became WWE champion in a much longer time compared to Kurt Angle. I think not Edge, but a couple. Hold up. You guys are gonna do this. Great. Debut to the longest. Chris Benoit, Kofi. Fastest rise to become WWE champion. Kurt Angle. It took 343 days for Kurt Angle to become champion. Roman took longer. No, I don't want his longest. I want to know how long did it take for him to do it. There it is. His first title was it 2015? Whatever. That is a fact, though. It took Roman longer to win that title than it did to actually. It took longer for Roman to win that title than it did Kurt Angle, Big Show, Kane, AJ Styles, Yokozuna, Sheamus, Brock Lesnar, and Ric Flair. Yep. I didn't know all that, but that's cool to know. And there's a whole discussion about it. David Arquette, Goldberg, Hogan, honky tonk. I don't know. Goldberg over Fiend. Yeah, that's still... Alright. That's still weird. Why? It's just character assassination for no reason. I don't know. Tie between Sting not being Triple H and Lesnar ending the streak. Lesnar ending the streak. Taker losing at Mania. That's a lot of that, damn. Anything you do with factions. I know there are way too many bad ones, that there are good ones. That... Okay. Having the Fiend lose to Goldberg or Zack Ryder's feud with Cena. Yeah, that's a pretty bad one, actually. Zack Ryder was super over. Internet, he did it himself, by the way, and the company did not like at this point for you to get over without them being the ones to put you over. Yeah, bro was injured, handicapped, in a wheelchair, tossed out from it off the stage. Cena kissed his lady, the whole fucking thing. Fiend losing to the Goldberg, Arquette, Wyatt not defeating Taker or Cena at Mania. Goldberg, Fiend, Zeus winning the Rumble. You have to, though. You have to put these guys... Look, to quickly with Jay. I would think after the whole Bloodline thing, the plan is to have one of them, Jay, be a main eventer. Because you have to. Especially if Roman is going to go away after Mania. You have to. So why wouldn't you put him in that position? At some point, you just got to try some shit. Like Jinder Mahal having the belt on paper. Yeah, why the fuck not? Anybody can be champion. But can they be a good champion? That's what you have to find out. But booking also has to help Jay. It can't just be him. Austin's heel turn without question wasted some good years of what Austin had left. Jinder Mahal the title. See, this I disagree with. I think not having Evangelion. Nah, I like Evangelion, but there's some shit with Evangelion. I'm not gonna. It's a whole other video, I guess. Jinder Mahal not developing a moveset is also bad. But he's a heel. He's not supposed to have a good moveset. I don't want to hear that. You're giving an excuse for somebody not being a good worker when you're asking him to be a WWE champion. That's crazy. I don't want to hear that. Yes, you can be a successful pro wrestler without having a good moveset or necessarily a good promo work. It's just, it really fucking helps you stand out and gives you a better longevity. Jinder Mahal beat Moxley, Orton, yeah, screwy finishes, and AJ. I don't want to hear it. Think of the names I just named. 3 Hall of Famers. They're not in the Hall of Fame, CDP. You get what I mean. They are that level of talent. And you can't ask Jinder Mahal to give us some fire? All right. Figure Puck with Doom. Triple H, Goldberg, It was me, Austin. It was me all along. David Arquette, Roman, yeah, this period is what that video covers. You should watch this, and more. You should watch this. Hogan in the ridiculous Sunday at Mania 9. Undertaker losing the damn streak and giving Hogan creative the control of WCW. And, of course, Brock beating Kofi. 1 hour. I got to edit, huh? Cool. Some aren't available replies. I don't know why. Whatever. Probably bots. Yep. That is what you, the people, thought of. To go back at the beginning of it. This has been what was the worst booking decision of all time in pro wrestling with me. You should follow me on my socials. Here they are. It's blocked by that. Cool. Here they are. Bang. Yeah, it doesn't help. Doesn't help that a lot of this is either booked from Russo, Bischoff, or Vince. Yep. Also goes to show a lot of people answering this are people that are not in Japan or like following those companies, because I would have taken New Japan answers, All Japan answers, I would have taken Noah answers, whatever, bro. Because I don't just want the go-tos, right? Some of y'all could have said, I don't know, let's see. What would I say has been some bad shit? I mean, if you're someone that criticizes AEW heavily, you'd probably say this whole thing involving Moxley is probably pretty bad. Evil winning the belt is probably an answer I was expecting. I actually, now thinking about it, I'm surprised wasn't an answer too. What else? Nakamura being used as a fucking idiot and not allowed to have a proper moveset and not presenting him as the star that he was. It's pretty bad. The Triple H thing with Kane. We're not going to talk about it, but if you know, you know. Let me think. Vince's mistreatment of the women's division for years. Jeff Jarrett's whole thing with women in the late 90s. I get it. But that's pretty bad. Although comedic, it is pretty bad. The Vince McMahon talking to Cena saying, "What's up, my?" That is pretty bad. But the worst booking decision of all time? Man, you know, I didn't know what would be my answer. The Roman stuff's pretty much up there for me. Because honestly, yeah, how do you not listen to your own crowd after years of trying this? I don't know, but I mean, we ball. If I had to say the worst thing, probably, I know Brock is a big main eventer, and a lot of it shows people understand this is a Brock type of show. This is really good, and some of it can't be fun. It can. I just don't like the idea of a part-timer in any situation. I don't care if it's Cena. I don't care if it's Rock. I don't care if it's Roman Reigns. I don't like the idea of a part-timer being a world champion. I think that's shit. Well, you know, if it's a heel, that's pretty good stuff. A lot of people cook AEW for not having the AEW championship being shown on TV. And yeah, you should have your main title be, literally the biggest title for them. You should probably have that be shown off more, because that shouldn't be a question ever. Where's the fucking world championship? I don't know, bro. Somewhere. But I guess in that sense, having Punk win the title again against Moxie is also really bad. Especially with hindsight. Yeah. Yeah. You know, I guess that will be mine. The Roman Reigns one. I think that entire booking up until him having to leave, and then of course coming back from the pandemic, and that's really when he popped off, because Roman was able to be himself, and no one really knew how people were going to react to certain stuff until it went up in the air in social media reactions. But for a while, when there was nobody or the Thunderdome, bro, you were booking whatever you wanted, and that's it. You had to make it work, and I get it. Pro wrestling's better with fans, yeah, but you're also able to do a lot of shit that you want to do, and you really get to see who can really work out there, both on the mic and in the ring. Because, hey, bro, there's no fans, so we don't know when something's hype and lit like that. You gotta make sure you said it like that. And hey, man, there's something beautiful about it. I don't know. There's a whole mixed bag, but I think, I guess, to put my input about it, yeah, I think Roman Reigns is how he was booked as a face up before the pandemic and him having to leave. I think that'd be my answer. I think that's a really good lesson of, hey, this is how you fuck up some shit in your company. Which sucks, because a lot of people were used in order to really levitate Roman to try to really be the flag bearer, and unfortunately just rejected by a lot of people. Yes, some people still cheered for him and loved him and talked a lot of good stuff, and he was loved by his peers in the backstage, which is cool, you know. But ultimately, hey, bro, it's not personal. It's just people don't fucking like how we're booking you, so we gotta move you on from you, bro. And it is what it is. Granted, they've been able to save it and turn this whole story with him and Cody specifically involved in this, and man, it's really cool. But yeah, so it is what it is. I've been your host of the most, Caesar the Pizza, otherwise not SCDP, here in the Juicy House. And yeah, second video for this channel, and it's gonna be a long one. Fuck, can't wait to edit this. But yeah, YouTube, I'll ask you the same question. What was your, hey, this is the worst booking decision of all time in pro wrestling? It could be WWE, it could be TNA, it could be NXT. I don't give a shit, bro. Whatever you think. You guys have shit to get off your chest, go ahead and let me know. I'm out of here. I'll see y'all in the comments. Peace out. Stay juicy, y'all. Bye.